Do you have a gig worker mindset? Hi, my name is Levi, and this is the Daily Drive. Today's Daily Drive is brought to you by Tonquin. And like I've said before, I'm a big fan of Tonquin. I use Tonquin in my local area here in Syracuse. What Tonquin is it's gig work for parts delivery. You see, what happens is a car repair shop orders car parts. They don't have the car parts in supply. And so they go to Napa or any other type of supplier to get those parts. And gig workers like us can basically be on our Tonquin app in our local market and get a gig, $10, $20 or whatever to deliver the brakes or some sort of other part to that car repair shop. It works great. It's not in every city yet, but it's coming. It's coming to your city. So go to their website, click on the link in the description and let them know that Levi sent you. Do you have rideshare insurance? Well, I work with VOOM. See, what VOOM is, it's insurance for rideshare made easy. And with typical insurance, you pay for the full policy. So for me, in my insurance policy, I have to cover my car the full time I drive it. So what VOOM does is you only pay for the insurance that you need. You pay for your non-commercial miles. It's up to 60% lower than traditional policies. What you do is you go to their website, connect your accounts, and get a quote. With VOOM, it's really easy. So just click on this link in the description and let the team at VOOM know that Levi from Tip You in the App sent you. Now for some rideshare news stories. This one is from the Baltimore Sun. David Smith writes, "Why I always talk with my Uber driver." Here's a quote where he says, "My Uber drivers remind me of how lucky I am to have been born in the US. My friend, the peace activist Coleman McCarthy, calls this winning the birth lottery." And I think about all the different stories that we have with our passengers, just the connections that we make. Just yesterday, I was talking with a passenger who, she's a PhD researcher. She's trying to merge potatoes and tomatoes. It's just fascinating. And these conversations are great. We don't always have conversations, and sometimes we sit in silence. But it was just a great read by David Smith. Go out and read it. Why I always talk with my Uber driver. A news story out of Washington from Como News. Rising rideshare driver death rate helps prompt new bill for worker benefits. Here's a quote. 5 rideshare drivers have been killed in the past 3 years, with the majority of them leaving behind families. A new bill introduced in Olympia would extend benefits to rideshare drivers if their death results from an injury while the driver is logged in and is available to work. If passed, the driver's family could then receive death benefits. And as you know, I've talked about this so much that our job is dangerous. We're going into unfamiliar neighborhoods. We're dealing with people a lot of times inebriated. It can be very dangerous. And I'm not a big fan of government coming in and changing how much money that we make. But yes, I am all for the government coming in and criminalizing on a different level people that attack rideshare drivers. And furthermore, I really want to see the government and or these rideshare companies pay and help drivers that have been violently attacked or even worse, killed in the line of duty, in doing our job. It's just a part of our life, and I wish it wasn't, but it is. The final news story prompted this whole video. It's from Sarah in the Portland Press Herald. She says, the title is Opinion. The gig economy sucked in millennials like me. I'm a Gen Xer. Will we ever get out? And she quotes here. She says, "I need the higher regular pay and benefits that come with a salaried full-time job. But, that but's important, but it's hard to find a good job. And even if I get one, I don't know how I'll balance it with my responsibilities as a mom of young children." Let's talk about this. What Sarah writes about in her article is the balance that we all have as gig workers. And that's what I kind of call a gig worker mindset. When we have jobs, I go to an office or I do my work and I'm employed by an employer, I get a wage, right? I get a W-2 and I get benefits, paid sick time, access to a 401k. Quite frankly, the benefit of working on a team. But when I'm a gig worker, I'm all alone. Now, we have a community here, me and you and We have companies like the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world. But in reality, when someone gets into our car, it's just me and them, right? It's just us. And we are responsible to do that job. And we get a payment, right? We get paid, let's say $20 for that particular ride. That $20 isn't my income. It's an income for the business of being a gig worker, but it's, it's, a lot of that money is allocated for. I have to pay for fuel. I have to pay for insurance. I have to pay for things. And it's hard. It's really hard for a lot of people to manage it. What we like, what Sarah talks about in her articles, we like that flexibility. We like that freedom. We like getting up and saying, I'm going to have a cup of coffee before I turn the app on or whatever else. But with that flexibility and freedom comes responsibility. We're not going to get paid sick time. We're not going to get, the camaraderie of maybe working out there on the job with other people, or even that security of having that help. We're a little bit alone. And we have to have a different mindset. And Sarah writes in her article, she wants the higher pay. She likes that stable paycheck, but she also wants flexibility and freedom. And I don't think those two things are congruent. I don't think those two things jive. I think she wants the best of both worlds. And that kind of just doesn't exist. And that's why we need a gig worker mindset. We need to be able to manage the $20 that comes in from that job and go, well, yeah, $5 goes here and $3 goes here. And the rest of the money might go into my paycheck. I need to save some for taxes, etc. But we also need to be able to have the discipline to wake up and go work, right? A gig worker mindset means that we're also, we're not sleeping in because we're lazy. We're actually still going out and working. And we're working as much as we need to make the number that we need to make. And yeah, we can also enjoy that flexibility and freedom. It just comes with a different mindset. And I think a lot of gig workers are confusing the two. They're frustrated they're not making enough money, and that's reasonable. They're looking to the government to say, I want benefits like an employee, but don't make me an employee. And I think that those two things just don't work together. Ultimately, me, have to have a gig worker mindset. A gig worker mindset is the only way we can really operate. We have to understand flexibility and freedom and stability aren't necessarily the same thing. So go out there, be safe, go earn that money, and know that I'm cheering for you. Be well. Bye.